I
jamming?
am having a blast to the music. How you doing? How you doing? How's it going, sports gamers? Welcome to the first and only, arguably the best ever, episode 9 of the SGO Press Pass. We're doing it live again. You guys loved it, and this is now going to be a permanent thing. You get to see all the hiccups, all the mistakes, everything. Mike Strum, managing editor of Sports Gamers Online here, as always, with lead writer Jake Jacobson. Jake, it's Thursday. We had to push back because of some commitments yesterday, but we're here, and we have a fun show, a big show to talk about. But before we do that, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing all right. It's E3 Eve, which is E3 Eve, I suppose. We got to see they did well, I guess they did Hot Gamer Summer today, the Summer Games thing, which I guess is it's not listed in the official E3.
It's completely separate. Jeff Keighley was like, I'm having fun. Jeff Keighley is his own thing. There is Jeff Keighley, and then there's the gaming industry.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
and Jeff Keighley does this all. He started all this with his own money. I love Jeff Keighley for what he's done for this business.
Look, the Keighley can do anything at this point. He can do basically whatever he wants to do. Yeah. But yeah, so it's E3 Eve. If you can call this one an E3, which it doesn't. This is my first E3 in the industry, so I don't have a lot of reference points.
I know, and I'm like, wait a minute, you've been here almost 2 years now, but
they didn't do one last year.
They didn't do it last year. Yeah.
So this was my. It was really fun to get the email. It was really fun to get the hey, congratulations, you get to come to E3 email, because it's something I've always wanted to do, and then the monkey's paw curls one finger because this is the least E3 they've ever had. So.
Yeah, I've yet in my time at SGO, I've yet to go back to LA for it. But this is my first E3 as an official media attendee. 2015 was my last one, so I'm excited. We got a lot. I don't expect a lot, but we have a lot of thought. A lot of thoughts on what can happen. But before we get into that, we want to remind you that the SGO Press Pass is brought to you by SGO Insider, the premium subscription service where you can get exclusive news, tips, guides, features, interviews, early access to games before anybody else. And you get this show ad-free if you want to listen to it again. You get it ad-free. You get a bunch of great stuff that we are working on, some new benefits for our insiders, aside from our insider-only channels on our Discord. sportsgamersonline.com/insider to sign up for that today. Jake, you know what? I kind of want to get into the big story of the day.
Yeah, I was going to ask where you wanted to start today, because we got a lot. We got some hefty boys.
But we can't go without talking about what we've been playing this week. Guys in the chat and gals, whoever's in the chat, let us know, what have you been playing this week? We're going to go through it too in the chat live. If you want to be part of the live show, we are going to be doing this. We're doing this Thursday night. We're going to be doing this again Wednesday nights at 8:30 Eastern on youtube.com/sportsgamersonline, so you can be part of the show. Throw what game you've been playing in the chat over the past week, what games, what you're excited about, what you've been enjoying. If you want to get any sort of message across, as long as it's not vulgar, leave us a super chat. You'll get your message on the air, no matter what it is. It can be Mike Straw makes bald men. He's a disappointment to all bald men. Well, I don't believe you, but I will put it on the air if you're that. So, Jake, what are you playing? Mr. rubs it in that he has hair on his head. I've tried to go through the courtesy. I've tried to go through the courtesy of hiding as much of it from you as possible this week, and I'd appreciate it if you would at least appreciate my efforts. I mean, if you want to hear my weekly Knockout City check-in, let's go.
We are in We are in Sapphire. We are in rank Sapphire and ranked Cruise and ranked threes. Which so I've learned a little bit about the ranked system now that we've been playing it so much. Basically you get up to like, it works the same way. League is not a good example because League has way less of these. But you know how like ranked in games now starts you in like wood, and then it's bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and then
what's wrong with being wood ranked? That's what I want to know.
Look, woodworking is a really important industry right now, and they need your help if you're interested in woodworking.
100%.
No, but then platinum, and then if they decide like we need to add a bunch more, they throw in like ruby, emerald, sapphire, diamond, stuff like that. And so Knockout City is the same way. What's interesting about Knockout City is it's not like a huge player base.
But they're dedicated.
So what happens is like they try to keep you in. What'd you say?
They're dedicated and fun. That's what I like.
I love this. You know what? The player base is pretty big. I just don't think a lot of people play ranked, which is also totally.
It's
fine.
Not your typical EA player base. I think that's where it might catch people off guard.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people play this game because they want to play it competitively. I think a lot of people play this game because they want to because it's fun to play casually. So I'm not faulting anyone for that. But like when you get into sometimes we're in the higher ranks and we'll play the same people 2 or 3 times in a row just because like the matchmaking is trying to put us with people in the same rank, and those are the people in the same rank. So what the nice thing is once you get over platinum into like the excessive colors, which is just more rewards, right? Once you get in, it lumps everyone above platinum together into the same player pool to try to pull some of that, to try to prevent some of that, like playing the same guys over and over again, which I also think is a pretty smart idea. But yeah, that's been fun. I've also I've dipped back into a non sports game, and I almost want to say this with hushed tones, but I've been playing the card game Hearthstone again.
Ooh,
and it is fine.
You piqued my interest, but we're gonna. That's an offline talk that we're gonna have about that game.
Yeah. That's fine. So, Mike, what have you been playing?
Before we get into that, we do have a super chat. Thank you, Ray Magnoni. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. I'm gonna assume I pronounced it right. If I didn't, yell at me in the chat. I really like the movement in next gen Madden. No zigzagging with Madden 22. Continuing that sim movement. Yes. That's plain and simple. They're gonna a lot of the stuff you saw gameplay, and we'll get into it with our E3 talk and EA play. We're gonna talk about that too a little bit. But yeah, a lot of the stuff you saw with the movement based on the real time stats in Madden 21 next gen, that's coming back this year. I don't know if it's going to be for last gen, if they're going to implement it. I doubt it. I personally wouldn't like to see it give a reason for next gen and PC players to have that experience, but the new movement is going to be the no zigzagging, where you're like that was one of the things I always never liked in the old Madden games, where on kickoff returns you can go all the way to the left, stop on a dime, go straight across to the right, and then boom, kickoff return for a touchdown. I think I might put a video up on like our TikTok. Yeah, we have a TikTok, tiktok.com/@sportsgamersonline of just me doing that on repeat in Madden 07. I will take Terrence McGee of the Buffalo Bills and I will just return kickoffs constantly. So what am I playing?
Yeah.
Before we get into
besides
you already know one game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you playing besides Retro
Mania? Yeah, Retromania is always.
Let's give us your weekly Retromania check-in, since I get to have one every week.
Well, I took Warhorse through 10 pounds of gold again.
All right,
made it and lost in my very first defense. I've yet to defend the title with him. So now, I went back to Big Stevie Cool, Steven Richards, and now I'm running the gauntlet and I'm having a blast with him.
They got DLC coming out for that soon, right?
Yep, BWO Arena, and then you got Mr. Hughes coming up. Got some wrestlers coming. It's going to be fun. But aside from Retromania, I've been dipping into, because it's free for Amazon Prime owners, it's free on Origin right now, Battlefield 4. So I've been dipping back into that. Excuse me. Sports gaming wise, it's MLB The Show. and some out of the park baseball. Not even perfect team. It's just I'm trying to get back into out of the park baseball legitimately. So before we get into the topics of the show, what are we playing? Justin Stevens has been playing Madden 21 and PJ 2K21. PJ 2K21, stay tuned for that because this summer we are going to be having, this is an announcement I guess I'm making here now. We're going to be having a charity tournament where we are going to be donating. We'll announce the groups that we'll be donating the money to in the coming weeks on social media. We will be running a tournament where you pay, I think we're going to do either $5 or $10 to enter, and you can win a prize pool and a big chunk of that proceeds. I think we're going to do like 75 or 80% of the proceeds. That's cool. All go towards the charities and groups that we choose. We haven't locked down the charities yet. We're working on some partnerships, but stay tuned for that. Everybody who plays PJ 2K21, the best part is no matter what platform you play on, you will be able to take part in the event. So I'm hoping to have more about that by the end of June for a July event. Ray, MLB The Show. A lot of people MLB The Show.
It's still a hot new release.
It's still good. Matt, here's one. Renan quarterback 7. Madden 12.
Is that last
true? Good Madden game that everybody thinks.
Is that a typo? I assume that was a typo.
Yeah, I was hoping it might be. Yeah.
No, he said it again. He followed up. He means it.
Orange Ninja Gaming, Madden, and Minecraft. Dude,
hey,
Minecraft is so relaxing. When I have my 1 month old laying on my chest, laying there, it's just so nice. It's a nice game. Madden 21 with Julio and the New Look Titans. They still don't have a chance against the Chiefs. They don't even have a chance against the Buffalo Bills. So,
unbiased opinion, by the way.
Completely unbiased.
I'm sure.
It has nothing to do with the Bills banners sitting next to me here on my right and all that stuff.
Conveniently out of frame.
Brandon Bonner.
Just a little ashamed.
We will. Hey, I'll get my Terrell Owens signed helmet in a minute. So we'll get to the NBA Live stuff. We do have a small update on that. MLB The Show or NCAA. We have Madden NFL 12 all day. Yep, Renan. Yeah, you said double down on that. So we have a lot of great games coming up. Mind you, if you have questions and you want them answered right away, leave us a super chat. If not, we will get to as many as we can at the end of the show, as we always do.
Yeah, if you have questions during the segments, we tend to try to loop those in with the segments, the Weggy board. But yeah, if you have general questions, we will loop back around at the end and scroll all the way up in that list and check those out. So
now do we start with the big one?
I don't even know which one the big one is.
I know. Okay, we'll start with Madden 22 beta first.
Okay.
We'll start with that. Earlier this week, if you've been on sportsgamersonline.com, you may have seen a story about Madden beta, a form going up on Madden's website. I'm not going to call it the Madden beta and pretty much what it is, but a registration form that you were able to register on June 7th and June 8th, where you would log in with your EA account and choose a console, whether it be the PS5 or Xbox One. Some people were saying they were able to choose the Series X. Some people were saying they were only able to choose last gen. I don't know if we still got conflicting. When I registered, I'll tell you that it showed me Xbox One and PS5.
Xbox One and PS5 are those the last two consoles you've played Madden games on?
No, I play Madden on PC.
Interesting.
So we're able to register for that. It's an open registration for what EA is calling a limited Madden NFL opportunity. And based on the timing and the wording and just when it is, we have EA Play coming up in July. We have E3, where Madden may or may not be shown at some point, maybe during Microsoft's and Bethesda's joint press conference on Sunday. Who knows? All signs point to that being the registration for a beta. July 5th last year, or right around the 4th of July, was when the Madden 21 beta was out. Yeah. So we could see something. Maybe we'll get something right before EA Play. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of thing went live at around the same time as EA Play, like maybe the week after or something like that.
Yeah, that would be pretty. That it makes sense. Like put 1 and 1 together. 2 plus 2 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1 that's 3. Quick maths. And if anybody, do you not get this?
No, I know it.
I know it. It's the greatest thing ever.
I know man's not hot.
Man's not hot. I love it, and it's an unironic love of it. I don't love it because
I think that's why a lot of people
think it's so catchy and entertaining, and it's so good. So we had the registration. People couldn't get in. It filled up pretty quick. Like when you go there now, it says registration is full.
Yeah.
Thank you for trying. Stay tuned for more details.
Yeah. It says,
what do you think is going to come of this? Is it going to be just a basic check out some of the new gameplay features, or do you think they're going to give us a first look at maybe what they're doing to improve some of the modes?
I do think it's funny that the way it's worded, it says this registration is now closed, but we'll see you next time, which is a very funny way to word that. I don't know. I mean, several people in our live chat, which if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, we do these shows live now, just a reminder. And we will talk about you if you say cool things. But a lot of people have sort of like been, we've already addressed a question about next gen gameplay. So I wouldn't honestly be surprised if the beta was just like, here is who just played in the Super Bowl, Buccaneers versus the Chiefs. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just drop like, here's Bucks versus Chiefs in our new engine with our new physics, with our upgraded physics. Or maybe they do like an exhibition mode and you get to choose between some different teams. I have to assume it's not going to be something that's super deep. Like we're getting close to when you would assume this game would be launching. But we know so little about it that I can't imagine this sort of early sign up. Like unless this sign up leaked like months early, which is the other thing maybe, but like I can't imagine. Like I don't think this is going to be a big chunk of the game, right? Like I would not be surprised to just see this be like here are the teams that qualified for the playoffs. Here's a minor exhibition mode where you can try out the new physics, try out some of the new playbook stuff like that. But like I don't know how you demo like changes to franchise mode or like I could see like if they do some more stuff with the yard, or if they do like a new weird game mode similar to the yard, maybe you get to play that. But it feels like this has to kind of be like, one, maybe a stress test, and two, just like a, hey, we're next gen now. We've focused on designing this game with next gen in mind, even though you can play it on PS4 and Xbox One. Don't worry about it. I have to imagine it's just going to be like, check it out, no more zigzags, like everything. Here's your opportunity to feel how smooth this game is now that we focused on next gen. Like yes. I can't imagine it'll be too more thorough than that.
No, and my thing is like with the real player stats and things like that, I want a game that's less reliant on animations. Now, I'm not going to say get rid of animations. You can't. In today's day and age, gaming cannot run and be as finely tuned without animations. You can try and trick yourself into that all you want, but animations are key. I don't want the game dictated by the animations, but I want them to look good. And I liked how they looked for the most part with the first iteration of the real-time stats. And I expect it to be better this year. And I'd be excited to actually check that out. We do have some questions about Madden. I do agree. I think it's going to be a small bit. I think we get some gameplay and then maybe a look at what they're doing with the yard, if they do anything with that. But other than that, I don't think it's going to be anything major.
Right. Yeah. I think so too.
Ray Magnoni, if the gameplay on the field is incredible, I can forgive the franchise shortcomings. I can't.
Now,
I don't want to be that quick. I was very quick to say I can't. I don't want to be that quick. No, I do. I can't. I have been so upset. I can get over. I'm such a franchise guy that I need something. Granted, it's the only sports game, well, NBA 2K20 or 2K as well, where I can play an online league with my friends. But I want the gameplay. I want the coaching carousel that we got kind of teased, that backdrop a few months back.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
our coordinators. I want a coaching carousel back. I want overhauled. Let's put it this way. I can go into a franchise wish list, and we're going to eventually, but it's going to be a standalone video at youtube.com/sportsgamersonline. We are going to have a standalone Madden franchise wish list. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be me and the Natural going over this. He doesn't know that that's the plan. So when he watches this and he finds out, you're welcome, Natural.
I'm sure he's on board. Yeah.
We're going to go through with what we want to see with this. But I don't know. I just can't. I just can't get behind not having major franchise updates. Again, we've teased it on here multiple times. You will be pleasantly surprised with what they've done. It's not like they're not doing anything. They are working a lot on making things right. But they got a long way to go. Like, they got a long way to go to make people happy. Ray had another question. Will Madden be using Frostbite 4.0? I believe, as with FIFA, it's likely to be the case on the next gen, whereas Xbox One and PS4 will be Frostbite 3 because of the power needed. I don't know if that's for sure.
No sources on this one. Yeah,
no sources on this one, but this
intuition.
is just intuition and knowing what the engine entails and what power is needed. It just makes sense. Grown folks online community. Gameplay's first, but if you look at NHL's franchise, and you'll quickly get upset at Madden's franchise. But again, granted, and Madden, NHL's gameplay has been the same since 2013. They've used the same engine. But I prefer that over Madden. Madden, I do think has better gameplay than NHL, but NHL's franchise mode is so much better. It's so much better.
Well, I mean, here's what I'll say. In defense of Ray's point, I do feel like a lot of people are in that.
Oh, he's not the only one. There's no way. Ray is not the only one who feels this way, and I get it.
No, yeah. I mean, like that game is the highest selling game every month it's released, right? So, like, you know,
100%.
It's also part of the reason why it's so hard to you know, Tony. I had the unique honor of covering a lot of these, you know, pro franchise mode scenarios in 2020, but, like, you know, and maybe they've worked, right? Because they've drawn attention to that mode in a way that, like, attention hadn't been drawn to that mode before. But, like, if you're going to go out and make that game a record setting game every year, it's kind of hard to have your voice to affect the game design.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
before we move on, we got a few more things. Devlin Collins. What about scenarios so drops and catches and plays don't seem scripted? It's tough. It's a fine line. Like, that's kind of like, you need the animations for it, but yeah, I don't want it to where it's like no matter what, it's going to be the situation. And the biggest place you can look at, like, the scripting is field goals. Like, it used to be timing it, and your reaction time was the key to getting a blocked kick. Now, you know, you can time it perfectly, and if the game doesn't want you to get it, if the animation or the game script does not want you to get it, the game's not going to let you get it. There's a way they can work around it. I think the real player stats now is what they're using to power the gameplay and how the players move on the field is going to be a big catalyst for that change. It may not be done this year, but this generation of Madden, I can confidently say, and anybody who's followed SGO since the beginning, I am Mr. Negative on everything. It's very hard for me to have hope for things. But
it's a real good cop, bad cop podcast in that regard.
100%. It's what makes this dynamic so much fun. But I will play the good cop on this for the fact that granted, the bar's kind of low, But I can confidently say this generation's Madden will be tenfold better than what we got for the PS4 and Xbox One, and it won't even come close. What they're able to do with the hardware, now that they have hardware that not matches what you can do on PC, but it's strong enough for what they want to do. It will 100% make for a much better generation of Madden NFL football. And I'll that's a hill I'll die on until I'm proven wrong. But based on what we know, and what we've heard that we can't talk about, that's a hill I'll die on, where over the next few years, players will be impressed.
I will add that, especially after seeing the difference in NBA 2K21 on Xbox One and PS4 versus NBA 2K21 on the PS5 and the Series S and X, like I don't think Madden has an excuse to not be like leagues above how it played on the PS4, because like NBA 2K showed, like NBA 2K21 is two different games depending on which generation of console
2K Sports.
On. So like
we talked about it on the SGO Discord, which you can join at sportsgamersonline.com/Discord, open to everyone. Join us, hang out, because this was one of the conversations we had where 2K Sports did the generation jump perfect. Like, you had a good game on the last gen on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and you built some new features to entice people to get it on the next console. Especially since you weren't doing the free upgrade unless you had the Black Mamba edition.
Right, yeah, they did do that. I forgot all about that.
But the game, okay, NBA 2K. We're gonna move on to the bigger story in a minute. NBA 2K21 on next gen had the W. Now a lot of people are gonna be those, it's women's basketball, blah blah blah. I don't give a damn. The WNBA is fantastic, and I love that game mode.
W is so cool. Yeah.
Yes. Loading into games, like a split second to go from a menu to clicking after picking my jersey and my team, play, and I'm in a game. Multiple broadcasts. Give me, man. Okay, I can go on that one. I want more multiple broadcasts. That's what I need to see come in this generation. At the era of multiple broadcast teams. EA did it with NCAA 2009 basketball. There's no or 2010, sorry. There's no reason why it can't be done anymore. 11, 12, 13, 20 years later. Give me it. Again, if you want your comments read on the air, leave them in there. If you have questions, we'll get to them. If they're not one of the topics, we'll get to them at the end of the show. We'll get to as many as we can. If you want your question or comment read on the air immediately, no matter when it is, leave us a super chat. Help us grow the channel, grow the SGO network here.
Yeah,
moving on.
If you want to hear every single one of Mike's rants that could be its own podcast, go ahead and support us here with super chats or on Patreon, and maybe we can get something like that started for you.
Oh my God. I think I'm going to start cutting these up and throwing them on our TikTok. What is Mike mad at today? Next.
Yeah.
So we had the Ultimate Team leak a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's a dark day for FIFA. Now, that's nothing compared to what we got today. Oh, well, thank God we didn't do this show yesterday, because we wouldn't have had this juicy morsel of content to talk about with EA, the FIFA. Now it says FIFA 21 hack, but it was EA as a whole. EA's source code. There was a major data breach at EA. Now, before we get into what it was, there wasn't it wasn't like our information or player information. They didn't take any of that. They didn't want any of that.
Yeah.
What was plus that happens enough. That's the easy stuff to get. What was taken was code, and a lot of it, almost a terabyte worth. I'm just gonna put up the image on the screen.
Do you have the yeah
of what was on here? We're just gonna go right to it.
Yeah.
So group of hackers. Yes.
Yeah,
You go,
Oh,
Jake.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought it was Motherboard. I have the waypoint. I guess they're essentially the same. So Vice Gaming. I believe it was Motherboard that broke the story, but
Yes.
could have been Waypoint. It's hard to say. Games by Vice. Motherboard broke the story a little before noon that a number of hackers had broken into the Electronic Arts vault, so to speak, and just jacked as much stuff as they could. And Mike, I believe, has pulled an image, an alleged screenshot of one of the advertisements.
You have
trying to sell this code.
It's
includes
rare. Yeah, I don't mean to talk over you.
No,
this is one of those things where attention deficit gets in the way because this story. Oh, it excites me in so many different ways. Not because I like things getting hacked, but just what could happen because of this. There is something incredible about one of the largest companies in the world not being secure enough to avoid this. And what was taken could change what they do forever.
I'll go ahead and read this list if you're cool with that.
This
780 gigabytes.
I threw it up on the screen. If you're listening, we have it on the screen. But yeah, Jake's going to read off of it, and we're going to talk about this. Everybody in the chat everybody watching live can see this, and they can just Home Alone face this and go.
So okay. So again, the context of this is that this is a screenshot on a sort of back alley forum, allegedly. That is an advertisement trying to sell these stolen codes. It starts by saying we sell the FIFA 2021 full SRC code and tools, which is a strong start because that's all of it. That's their whole thing.
Well, they're not burying the lead, that's for sure.
If this list is to be believed, it includes FIFA 20. Well, this list is to be believed. I'm going to correct myself there.
Because EA confirmed with Motherboard that what was said to be taken was taken. That is where I immediately went like, oh,
right.
Oh, usually they're like, we're not commenting on rumor speculation. Everything's okay, blah, blah, blah. No, they were like, no, this is bad. This is very, very bad.
Yeah. So it includes all of FIFA 21, which includes the FIFA 21, the codes for the FIFA 21 matchmaking server, which that's huge because imagine what you could do if you lifted EA's matchmaking service just whole hog. Some assets in keys and debug tools for FIFA 22. The large chunks of the Frostbite engine, which would mean that somebody will potentially be able to put an NHL game on Frostbite before EA does.
No, the greatest. What did you say in the chat? Hackers get the Frostbite engine before EA Sports NHL. That should have been the headline of the story, and I'm kind of upset it wasn't.
I wish I weren't too busy to have written it because I would have.
Oh, that was such a great headline. Everybody loves it. Hackers get the Frostbite before NHL. We're going to stop real quick on this Frostbite thing. That part to me, like when they're like, okay, the FIFA 21 source code was taken, all right, whatever. As soon as they said Frostbite source code, my first thought was, all right, Frostbite 1, 2, or 3. Like, which version of Frostbite? If it's a modern day Frostbite, then oh my God. If it's old Frostbite, it's kind of a non-issue. But the idea that this source code is taken, not necessarily so they could build or sell it and someone could build a game using the Frostbite. It's so someone much smarter than you or I can go into that code, pull out parts, and likely build a whole new indie game engine based off of that they can say. I'm my programmer mind, which if you don't know, if you're watching the show, my 9 to 5 is I'm a software developer. And my mind is going like, oh my God, what could they do with this code? Especially then when you get to the next couple things on the list. Jake, What's the next thing on the list?
Many proprietary EA games, frameworks, and SDKs.
Oh, many. Okay, so they didn't mention the games, but
No.
EA has a lot of games. And my thought goes to, oh, maybe they got some Battlefield. Maybe they got some Battlefront. Maybe they got some Medal of Honor. Maybe they got some, like, what do they have? I want to know. I'm not buying this stuff because it was stolen and it's illegal, but I want to know.
Probably wasn't hacked. It was probably given away by an employee.
That employee would go to jail.
Yeah, that's
David,
way more.
It's not like the thing is, I'm not going to sit here and say that's wrong. But my God, what a story that is. Netflix can't write that.
EA was an inside job. So I think that's an interesting conspiracy theory because the big FIFA leak that happened a couple of weeks ago was presumably those slides were leaked by an employee. One, I will say EA does specify that this as a intrusion into our network, which seems to imply that it was done externally and not internally. And I feel like EA would be pretty. That. No, well, you're right. No,
they would
that
say,
could be a spin.
Because they did say, like, with the hacking or with the leak, the FIFA Ultimate Team, they immediately said, no, this is an inside thing that we're trying to handle.
Right. Yeah.
Though I feel like there'd be way more fires to put out if they would have came out and said publicly this was an inside thing for something this big.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it's less of a headline. Well, I was going to say it's less of a headline if you can come in and say, yeah, go ahead.
Curtis Leon Douglas makes a pretty good point. Think about it. Who knows the code but some fired employee? Maybe. I'm going to say, I don't know if EA would do this. If they did, then man. But I've worked at places that allowed me to put software source code for what we're building on my personal machine. And because my personal machine is just a better machine than what any company is going to give me for programming. But you sign like these agreements, and if they find out, they track your IP. I mean, I had to track my IP, and every time I logged into the code was logged, so they would know. I'd have to think EA has the same thing, where if you're gonna like, they don't let the source code on just any old thing. They like EA would have like these top of the line machines, so it is possible because there's nothing stopping you from doing like going here, going. Oh, this line of code, copy. Like, there's nothing that'll stop you or someone from doing that. So
here's what I'll say is why I don't think it was an inside job. And someone has sort of referenced Edward Snowden, but you know that guy's name, and that's kind of my point. Is if you are someone who got fired from EA and you hack and steal code like this, it is so much easier to find you and deal with you because they have all of your information on file and they probably know where you've gone next. I don't think this is I think it's very funny to think about this being a disgruntled ex-EA employee. I think it's way more likely that it isn't.
Yeah, I don't think it's an inside job, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was. I guess I'm interested to see where this goes. All I know is I want more information. I want more stories. This makes me
yeah. To my knowledge, EA's statement about this, and I can check their socials real quick. To my knowledge, EA's well, do I have them blocked actually on Twitter? Because that'd be very funny. There we go. Yeah, I don't actually think they've made it any kind of. I think their response to Motherboard, I think, is their statement.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I mean, are you really? They're probably working out something. And we'll keep moving forward here. Xbox and Sony private software development kits and API keys. Yeah, you got to think Microsoft and Sony are pissed. PlayStation, EA, certificates and things like that are currently being used by the company. The Xbox, PlayStation, EA, that's a key one. They're that last line. It's something currently being used by the company. So I'm really interested to see what. And then you have full capability of exploiting on all EA services. And then they posted proof. We don't have the images or anything like that. But David does bring up a good point before we move on here. You aren't thinking that maybe these guys are smart and know how to cover the trails. I do think they're smart enough. I agree with you that devs are usually the smartest people working for a game company. Yes, because you can. Devs are they're some of them are just look up 10x developers, and you will definitely 100% understand that. It's tough until we know more. Like, I can believe it's inside. You can convince me that it was a disgruntled former employee, because if they say it's external, that does not cover the fact that it could still be, that disgruntled former employee or ease that knew how to get in still, because they just didn't came in what happened. So it's one of those things of like, I really am looking forward to more information, and there's going to be more over the next week. This is not a story with something as big as this, like the FIFA Ultimate Team leak with the card selling. That kind of just swept under the rug right after a week or two. This is not going away with how big this is. There's too many people involved, too big of information involved, too big of data involved. But it is fun to speculate. Like, it's kind of what we do. Like, we're reporters, but with something like this, with the show, like, thinking about what this could mean it's huge, man. It's huge.
Yeah, and like how EA handles it the next couple of weeks. Luckily, this is not something EA has to take care of before a presentation at E3, for example. Because they are not participating. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from here. Like, whether this is a thing where these hackers get themselves caught right away, or if EA even does anything publicly about this, because what can you do? Like, I don't know. You're right. It'll be interesting to see sort of how EA handles this moving forward, and how this affects. Because if I'm a FIFA player, knowing that my every online account I've ever owned is already the most susceptible online account to being hacked and having someone spend money on FIFA, I'm not super confident that all of a sudden hackers have matchmaking data and active certificates and stuff like that. So we'll see. Who knows? Yeah,
exactly. Who knows? But I'm hoping next week we'll have an update when we're back on the air. Finally, let's get to what this original show. When we were planning this week's show, was all going to be about this next thing. E3 2021. We have E3 back, and we're going to talk a little bit. Oh, yeah, SmackDown. But we were going...
Sorry, I got it wrong.
This is going to be our preview. Like, will there be a new sim golf game? There it is. And, I mean, but we had other things. The EA hack.
Yeah, they gave us some news to talk about instead, which is cool of them.
EA...
everyone, them.
E3 2021, it's going to be weird. Bethesda and Xbox are together now after Microsoft bought Bethesda. Razer has its own press conference if you're into hardware. EA is not there again. They have their EA Play in July. Sony's not there again. Take-Two will be there in a smaller factor, which Take-Two owns 2K Sports. We do expect some news around, like, with some indie games with the hype and stuff. But what do we really think we're going to see from a sports gaming perspective from E3?
Well, so I'm pulling up the broadcast schedule, and I assume this is public knowledge. Is this something we could throw up on the screen?
Yes.
I don't know if you have I don't have a very high quality. This is going to sound crazy, but they did not email me a particularly high quality image.
They didn't email anybody a particularly high quality image, anybody who's on the media, which is hilarious.
I mean, obviously any of the indie showcases are worth looking at. You brought up Golf Sim. I don't know.
No.
No.
Sim Golf from the great
Oh,
Sid Meier.
I'm sorry.
Sim Golf.
Apologies. Perhaps a sequel. Yes.
Yes, you know.
I'll tell you what. If they announce a Sid Meier's Sim Golf 2, I don't know. I'll eat my hat. I don't know. I'll eat my hat on a podcast. Who knows? I really
see you say that, but there was someone who did a good friend of mine, Jeff Hawkins, and he made a bet, and he ultimately lost that bet. Where he said I can't remember. I think it might have been a cake that was shaped like his hat at the end of the day. But I can't remember. But that was a bet that he made. So we have the schedule up here. Yes, it starts Saturday night.
So here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking in terms of sports, right? And this is not. I guess it's worth saying. I have not been reached out to by none of the, and we need to link up about this sometime this weekend. But I've not been reached out to by any sort of indie companies that have any sports games. But it's still worth checking. You know, any of the indie showcases could have. You know, golf games are a very popular indie sports game. Indie sports games are getting kind of weirder, right? Like KO City's obviously not an indie game; it's an EA game, but like it has that feel, right?
Yeah.
I think we will get Ubisoft last year or the year before announced that roller derby game.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get something on that,
which I think we'll see at the Ubisoft. I think we'll see more about that at the Ubisoft thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we got more sports story at the Nintendo Direct or Nintendo Treehouse, which was supposed to come out sometime this year, got delayed earlier this year. The sequel to Golf Story, if you've never played Golf Story, it's very good. It's a perfect Switch game too. Warner Brothers games Back 4 Blood is very funny, but I'm pretty sure that's the Left 4 Dead one, isn't it?
Yes, that's the Left 4 Dead. PC gaming show, we probably won't see much. Future game show, we won't see much.
Here's what I'll say. I have gotten emails that may suggest that either at the Razer showcase or the Verizon showcase, there may be something Madden related. I know one of the two has a Madden player on stage for the show. I wouldn't expect that to be new details about Madden. I would expect that to focus more on the, you know, especially if it's Verizon.
I think it might be Ultimate Team related or Madden Mobile.
It could be Madden Mobile. That's true. Yeah. But you know, there's a possibility one of these peripheral or broadband companies maybe have some kind of Madden tie-in or another EA Sports tie-in.
Take-Two has their interactive profile panel. Take-Two has a lot.
Take-Two has a lot.
Where I see happening, I see Take-Two talking something about NBA and giving maybe another teaser, maybe not during the panel, but I do think we get some WWE 2K22 stuff Monday or Tuesday on social media. There's the indie showcase, which we might get something. It's still weird to me, not sports related, to see in television as one of the presentations.
That's a good point.
2K football tees. I don't know.
So that's what I was going to ask. Do you think they do any, like, we know it's going to be delayed. Do you think that they say anything about 2K football here?
No, I don't think we get anything now until more in the summer.
You think they do NBA Live? You think they do,
or 2K? They will do 2K.
Yeah. Do you think we see? 2K. My bad. You think we see 2K? Do you think we see PGA Tour?
No,
or not PGA Tour.
I think we see.
No,
PGA Tour, 2K, I think we see something from PGA Tour 2K as far as like their next Golf Pass update and like some aesthetics. I don't see them talking about the new game at all. No, they're going to do it every other year thing. They're everything's pointing to that. Where we might get something new and awesome is that Bandai Namco Entertainment. There's a story we ran on SGO this week. We can pull that up here. about the return of some arcade racers like Ridge Racer here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So there is a good chance we see something like Ridge Racer and Rave Racer shown this week. Maybe not a new game, but maybe like a collection type thing. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Skate. People are talking. People are asking in the chat. We're gonna get to the games. Let's talk about what people think might come back. Is WWE 2K, William Beatty, WWE 2K E3 2021. I think on social media, I don't think like it at their presence, but I do think we get something next week. We have a lot of stuff about NBA Live, and we'll get to it as we close the show. PJ Tour 2K22 from Plant Based Comedian. I don't think so. I do Skate 4 EA Play.
Yeah, Skate 4 is an EA Play. That'll come in July, I think.
William,
or whatever
GTA,
they call it.
Yeah. GTA 6 at EA3. Now, this is a sports gaming thing, but I've been in this industry long enough to know. No, you're going to get GTA 5 on the PS6 and Xbox Series Z before you get GTA 6. That's what's going to happen. No, I'm joking on that part, obviously. But the way it is, I mean, it's been 8 years, and I don't see we get anything. I think we're more likely. I'm at this point, like from a non-sports gaming mindset, what are we going to get first? Elder Scrolls 6 or GTA 6? That'd be a fun. 6. I think that's a fun thing to have.
Now they have. I mean, they've put Elder Scrolls 6 into the ethos, right? They've muttered the name.
Yes,
which is more than for GTA.
They've announced
6.
the game.
Yeah. Well, they've shown the title of the game, I guess.
Exactly. So that's announcing the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
No, you're right.
Don't you argue with me.
You're right.
Don't.
I mean, they gotta get
young man.
That. I mean, that comes after
Keep it up.
Starfield. So you're right. There's time. There's literally time.
I don't even know about that one.
They literally have. What I'm saying is, they literally have time to show and release GTA 6 because we still don't know when Starfield's coming, which they said was going to come out before they started working on a new Elder Scrolls game. So
yeah. All right.
Another couple of the comments. A couple of people asking about Esports Boxing Club. I don't expect Esports Boxing Club to have a presence at E3, if only because Steel City Interactive, which is the European-based developer who's making that game, I don't know that they're big enough to be attached to an E3, if that makes sense, to show up to an E3.
To be fair, you don't really need to be that big if you have a game in development.
No, you don't. And also, like, you know, this comes back to the question of, like, what is E3 for? Because, like, to your point, Esports Boxing Club has built up all this hype without being attached to anything.
They don't need it.
I don't think that game's been shown at any...
No,
like,
they got
any Gamescom or any PAX or anything. So, like,
Todd Grisham has done marvelous in building the hype up for that game. I mean, and then when you get the boxers you're getting, like Canelo Alvarez, they got a lot of good stuff going.
Right.
All right. We're running short on time here. We want to get into as many listener questions as we can. If you want to guarantee your question gets read, again, leave us a super chat. Any amount gets your question or comment read on the air, no matter what. Camden, Rassiet, do I think NHL 22 will be good? Yes. New engine, be excited. Gameplay changes, franchise mode still good, still improving. Be a Pro finally got that boost. Yes, will be good.
Someone else has asked, are they making it an NHL 22? Yes, they are.
Yes, we just don't know if it will be on PC or not. That is literally the one thing we do not know. I'd assume if it's on Frostbite, it will be, but that's just me guessing. We got this question a lot today. And I actually have an update for you. No. What?
Breaking news.
NBA Live? No.
SGO Press Pass exclusive.
I'm using that sound bit.
Good. That's
when perfect. I clip this episode and throw a clip on YouTube this weekend or Monday, I'm using that as the intro to
you
the
you
clip.
can keep that one. No royalties on this
But,
one.
okay.
But you get one freebie. If you use EA Sports big, again, you do got to pay me. So
NBA Live. The game, they last put the update out in 2019 saying we'll talk to you when we have more to give. There hasn't been more to give. So much to the point that they've taken developers and producers who are specific to Live, and they've put them on other games. No one is working, like they got their NBA Live mobile team, right? No one's really working on things right now. With it. It may come back this generation, but I am a firm believer. This is without knowing anything. This is just what I would do if I'm in EA situation, right? Focus on the mobile. You have that dominated. NBA Live Mobile is beloved. People play it all the time. It's got good ratings, good reviews. It's a very good mobile game. NBA 2K is in the pocket of the league right now. They have the 2K League. They're like this. They're how Madden is with the NFL, really. And it just might be an uphill battle that they can't win. They still have the license for the NBA, though. That's the big thing. So they can come out with it whenever they want. There is talk as part of the EA Sports.
hold on, I was muted. I wasn't ready. Dude, set me up again.
All right. There is talk as part of the EA Sports
Big
possible revival of NBA Street making its return, which that NBA license would be huge in. So we'll see what happens. I'm trying to find the question about boxing. EA Sports bringing boxing back. If you asked that, I honestly cannot find it in the backlog, but I remember seeing it. And I can tell you EA is keeping a very, very close eye on Esports Boxing Club. Very close eye. Because if that does well, and with what this studio, without a backing of a major EA or 2K or whatever, can pull off what they're aiming to pull off, and they already have the roster they do and things like that, you could see EA get back in with a Fight Night franchise in some way, shape, or form. Not saying they're going to try and buy out. I wouldn't be surprised if they put out the feelers, but if ESBC does well enough and makes enough money, it's hard to see them going, yeah, we're going to sell right now. Though, who knows? I don't want to see more studios gobbled up by an EA, by a Microsoft, by a Take-Two, by all these places that are buying these major companies buying these smaller studios. But we want to. I really am interested. They are keeping a close eye on it.
Yeah, I mean, something that EA's been doing a lot lately is noticing that another sport franchise they're not involved in is doing mediocrely well or more, and then deciding to bring that franchise back. So I wouldn't be surprised if ESBC comes out, if ESBC does well, I would not be surprised to see a Fight Night in the next 2 years. So
yeah. Couple more questions. Again, if this is your last chance, if you want to guarantee, leave us a super chat. Will we see Forza Motorsport 3 at E3? I can almost guarantee Forza 8 will be at the Xbox Press. That's where it always is. Turn 10 will be there. Like it's going to be there, and it's going to be a great game because Forza is a fantastic franchise. Forza, the main line, and Forza Horizon. Incredible franchise. Let's see. What else do we have here? WW2K22, we already talked about that. I expect like a major reveal come August. Any 2K football? No, we won't have 2K football at E3. Will 2K make another hockey game? No. That ship sailed, I think. I know EA wants to, as we've talked about, ESPN wants to get back in with the branding, and they want to try and get their branding into more games, and NHL is one of them. Those talks, again, we have the story up on sportsgamersonline.com, and we have it on youtube.com/sportsgamersonline. Details on ESPN's attempts to get back in the video game world with its branding and names. But this, would EA, we'll do last one. Justin Stevens. Would EA ever consider getting back into rugby or cricket? I know it's not big in the US, but worldwide it's huge. Yes, on rugby they would. Cricket, highly doubtful. Rugby.
You think EA'd get in on rugby?
The EA rugby games were pretty good. And today we just blew Jake's mind at EA rugby existing.
No way.
Dude, EA made a college baseball game. You don't think they'd make rugby?
Was there only one? Did they make one?
I don't remember.
No, they didn't. Huh.
EA rugby was enjoyable. I could see them doing it. Rugby 22 was announced with Nacon, and I would appreciate it. Jake has a bug, and he's terrified.
And now it's taken care of. Don't worry about it.
That was the funniest thing, and me not busting out laughing was hard. Rugby
you did 22, point it out, though.
Yes. Rugby 22 is coming from Nacon this year, so we will have coverage of that because I love rugby. I used to play pickup when I was younger before I got old and bald, and Curtis says I look older than him when he's 10 years older than me. We have one more thing, and I actually
one more.
No, this actually I wanted to bring up, but I just forgot. Trey Atkins asked NASCAR reveal next month. I believe we will. We are working on some stuff with Motorsports Games and the NASCAR Heat team to bring you some exclusive content towards the build-up this summer. But I think end of July, obviously it's not coming out super early, but it looks like they're going to go back to their normal September launch that they used to have. So, yeah, based on the years, not last year. Last year was an anomaly because they were trying to get NASCAR Heat 5 out because they're working on a new engine. Based on 1 through 4, yeah, I'd expect end of July to be when we really start getting a lot of the details, like who's on the cover, the pre-order bonuses, the first trailer, and then things like that. So, yeah, that's something to look forward to, and I can't believe. So, Jake, another live one, another fun one. The chat was fantastic as always. You guys make the show great. We will be starting next week. The goal is to be live every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Had some other personal events to attend to yesterday, so we had to move it to Thursday. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/sportsgamerson. That's where we'll post the official announcement of whether we will be on Wednesday or Thursday that week. But we're looking at Wednesday nights. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, I would expect
But Wednesday. If news keeps coming like this, we might have to do Thursday because of this garbage. Because every single time we do a Wednesday show, the next day something comes out that we should have talked about. And now I'm going on an end of show rant here because it's obnoxious and just news breakers, leakers, all you people.
Be considerate of podcasters, please.
Do it 24 hours earlier, all right?
We have hundreds of people we need to entertain every week. Please think of us.
Thousands. We have a subscriber base of nearly 250,000 people. You got to think about us.
Hey, if you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at th3composer. That's th3composer. And I will be talking about E3 this week, as you might be surprised this weekend. So also, Mike, just want to check in. I've become extremely blurry with disappointment that the Pacers Gaming did get swept by the Cavs esports yesterday. Yeah, very sad day. They're 6-2. They're 8-2.
8-2. Sorry. Sorry. They're 8-2.
But proud of my boys. Just want to shout them out.
Yeah. My predictions like Raptors uprising have been terrible. We'll talk about it next time. This has been the SGO Press Pass. Join us. You can subscribe to us wherever you get your favorite shows if you want to listen to it on demand. You can watch it on youtube.com/sportsgamersonline. And as always, visit our website, sportsgamersonline.com. Join our Discord, sportsgamersonline.com/Discord. He's Jake. I'm Mike. I'm going to play Retromania. We're out.
Peace out.
Screwed it up again.